Welcome back to I Love You, Colonel Sanders with Gun Bunny, G.u.n.n, Bunny! And I couldn't resist. I must come back to this. I don't know why. It's absorbed my soul. So welcome back to the land of poor decisions. Or at least high sodium intake. Anyways, we get to go back to Colonel Sanders' chicken fried love pad. Woohoo! Come back to my hideaway and we can discuss. A personal invite? You can't imagine what Colonel Sanders' home must be like, but it sounds like you're about to find out. Stepping inside Sanders' home, surrounded by his things, you start to feel a special bond with him. I do? I got questions. A little bit. Mostly this kind of interesting fireplace is quite spectacular, and how he's paying for this lovely view. Also, I imagine it's very cold off the water. It looks like you live such an exciting life, Colonel Sanders. Every day can be an adventure if you approach it with the right attitude. Long ago, I made the decision to never stop searching, never stop working, never stop imagining. Have you been working on any new recipes of your own lately? I'm always excited to talk about food with another ambitious chef. Well, there is something. It's just a side dish that I've been tinkering with, trying to find the right balance of flavors and textures. I'm not sure I've nailed it yet, but I'm close. Colonel Sanders' eyes perk up, and he starts to wonder what dish you might be describing. It's meant to pair with something spicy, or something crispy. Both, perhaps? Now you've got him right where you want him. Should you reveal your new creation to him, or keep it a secret just for you? Reveal it! The man is clearly a genius! You decide that you're as ready as you'll ever be to share your original cooking with Colonel Sanders. Before you can talk yourself out of it, you decide to dive in head first. You reach into your lunch bag for a special dish that you've been keeping on ice all day. Oh God, it's gonna be coleslaw. Oh no! I sensed it in my wishbone. I present to you my original coleslaw. Okay, I owe that a better introduction. My original coleslaw! The shredded cabbage Okay, oh, I'm not ready. I got it. The shredded cabbage dish glistens in the light of Colonel Sanders' Lux hideaway. I'm fine. Okay. I'm medium. I don't know if I'm fine. Magnificent! Together, you chow down on the creamy slaw until just a spoonful remains in the bowl. I can't even remember if I particularly like the coleslaw. I feel I have consumed the coleslaw from KFC, but I've had so much good coleslaw lately. I'm ruined. I'm going to link in the description today. We're going to have the KFC coleslaw, and I'm going to put the binging with Babish coleslaw in there, and you can decide. But I promise you, Babish makes a good coleslaw. Do you mind if I hold on to the last bite? I'd like to have it around so I can admire its taste later and think back on this moment. If you want to steal my coleslaw, dude, I want 10% impertuity. Oh my God, no English can I. You could offer to make him more, but he seems like a very sentimental kind of guy. It's gonna go bad on your desk. Sure, why not? Please, make yourself comfortable. I'll be back in just a moment. You realize that now would be the perfect time to do some snooping. Let us snoop the chicken highlights. Around the room, there are various items that you can look closer at. Each item seems to radiate memories and emotions. Ooh, sparkle, sparkle. What would I like to look at? Tap on an item to discover more about the Colonel. Well, we have a candle. Scented candle. You pick it up and try to identify the smell. Gravy. Power tool? Freshly starched collar. Piece of wood floating in a lake. Summer of '69. No, it's one of those secret recipe ingredients. It's salt! Tap on an item to discover more about the Colonel. Chicken. You notice very realistic stuffed. Oh, it's stuffed. Stuffed chicken sitting on the corner table. When you pick it up, you realize it isn't just realistic, it's real. I like taxidermy. I think it's a fantastic art form, as long as it's done humanely. Taxidermy must have been important to Colonel Sanders when it was alive. A little note clipped to the chicken's foot reads, "The true state bird of the great state of Kentucky." I don't think Kentucky would like that. I don't know what the state bird of Kentucky is. Let's go look at Wikipedia real quick. 3, 2, 1. I was so pleased when I looked this up because I am not an ornithologist, I believe is what it is when you're really good at birds. Kentucky. I was so pleased when I looked this up because I am not an ornithologist, I believe is what it is when you're really good at birds. And I really struggle with names for things like bugs and birds because you get things like this Turdus migratorius, the American robin, and then it gets me in terrible, terrible, terrible trouble. And I was ready for that. Also, little interesting sidebar I didn't know the main chickadee is not specified in state law for its I think this is its genus. Correct me in the comments. I don't even pretend to be good this way. I love people who are good at birds. I bless them when they come on hikes with me. I am not one of them. I just think birds are they're pretty and strange. That's about all I got. All right, but on the bonus, the Kentucky Northern Cardinal, Cardinalis cardinalis. Look, it's Kentucky Fried Cardinal. Who knew? Right? Ah, the northern cardinal, known colloquially as the red-bird common cardinal. The red cardinal, or just cardinal, is a bird in the genus of the Cardinalis. It can be found in southeast Canada, throughout the eastern United States from Maine to Minnesota, and to Texas, New Mexico, southern Arizona, southern California. So, needless to say, these guys live everywhere, and they're cute. Um, I've never seen them outside of a zoo. I'm in the wrong part of Canada for this, but look at we're all puffed and cute. I don't think I've ever seen one that wasn't bright red, so that guy's different. But yeah, so from here on in, we're eating Kentucky Fried Cardinal bits, and yeah, that's the secret ingredient. It's cardinal and salt. I'd include this little bit. Their diet of the cardinal consists mainly of weeds, seeds, grass, and fruits. It's a ground feeder and finds food while hopping on the ground through trees and shrubbery. It will also consume snails and insects, including beetles, cicadas, and grasshoppers. And the young feeds almost entirely on insects. See, this is what makes them taste so good. Other common items include corn, oats, sunflower seeds, and blossoms and bark of elm trees, and drinks of maple sap from holes made by sapsuckers. I want to even know if people can eat these things. I don't feel like that's going to be listed here. Predators, human beings who wanted to know, can they eat them? Pets, bird feeders, mascot. Yeah, no, I think we're safe. I think we're safe. I don't think we can eat the cardinal, except in KFC, where they're the 12th ingredient. It's 11 spices and herbs, and then one very special bird. All right, back to where we were. Tap on an item, discover more about the kernel. Woohoo, learning it all. A lock of silver hair is woven through the teeth of the comb. That is unhygienic. Upon further inspection, you realize that the hair therein isn't just silver in color, it's actually made of spun silver. Okay, vase we go. It's an urn. This is his dead grandmother. You take a closer look at a large urn sitting on a nearby pedestal. There's a plaque on it. It's dusty, but when you wipe it off, you can read the inscription. Oh, please, I don't want to be this good at this. Okay, good. It says, "Here lies the ashes of all my past careers and business failures." Oh, I was worried I was holding someone's grandma. Poor guy. What else we got? One of the frame photos shows an old man who looks a bit like Colonel Sanders standing with a friend. They hold fried chicken drumsticks and appear to be cheersing them. You look closely and see that there is a short inscription. Everything has an inscription. How informative this room must be. I wonder who my friend Pete is. The photo appears to be Colonel Sanders, except he's an old man visiting the pyramids of Egypt. Maybe this is where he discovered one of those secret herbs and spices. Ah, lots of pictures. An adorable little baby crawls across the floor. From the goatee and mustache combo he sports, you figure that it must be Colonel Sanders himself. Or that, or maybe it's the drumstick that he seems to be waving like a rattle. Who frames baby pictures of just themselves? Probably the same type of person who would make their own face the logo of the company they founded, am I right? Ha ha! Gentle. Alright. This must be where he keeps his secret recipe. I also like to keep it in a convenient safe at my front door. Although I suppose the door does open inwards. So if you were a thief, you may go right past it. But I feel like you're going to see it as you're coming out the door. You know? I understand that no safe can keep anyone out, but it is supposed to buy time for the police. So is it genius? Question mark. You think for a moment, what number is important to Colonel Sanders? Then it dawns on you it's going to be however many spices it says. As soon as you turn the dial to 11, 11, 11, the safe opens. Inside it, you find a single note. Does it say, "Get out of my safe"? Can chicken be prepared sashimi style? I assume. I can't read most people's penmanship. I'd be a terrible nurse. You open the door to Colonel Sanders' closet and find a row of his signature white suits hanging within. You take one off the hanger and try it on. The jacket is a bit big for you, but it's soft and comfortable. You give yourself a deep hug. Where is he taking this coleslaw that he's still gone? Breathing in his scent, they say that home is where the heart is. This is what they meant. Yeah, I expect him to be back as I'm feeling up his closet. Before you can look any further, you hear Colonel Sanders returning. He has a new dish that he's been working on, and he wants you to taste it. You try to act casual until he asks you why you're wearing his jacket. Uh-huh. I don't usually loan those out, but I must say, it does look good on you. Oh, crap. The jacket. You forgot to take it off. You decide that now's your moment to make a big move. You tell him that you're cold. You fess up and tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. Come on. You confess. Oh, he loves the truth. I think I've developed feelings for you. I might be developing feelings for you too. But I'm concerned. I can't let anything get in the way of my dreams. Overwhelmed, you take off the jacket and run for the door. But the thought of leaving Colonel in the midst of such an emotional breakthrough gives you pause. You stop yourself. Colonel? Yes, Gun Bunny? I honestly think this may be the beginning of something wonderful. I think you're right. We should take things slow. You talk late into the night and drift into a slumber. Dream sequence. I'm going to be dreaming about weird stuff. There it goes. Some weird stuff. You awake to a beautiful morning in Colonel Sanders' hideaway. I don't know, sleeping over first night. It's going to look bad. People are going to think something happened. I bet he has very, very fussy neighbors. Did you make the right decision on how to respond to Colonel Sanders? Only time will truly tell. Today is a day that could change the rest of your life. You think about the new secret ingredient that you just learned about. Time for salt. In some jurisdictions, salt isn't even legal. But if the recipe is secret, how will they know? Your thoughts are interrupted when Colonel Sanders emerges into the room. He's holding a gorgeously plated breakfast, and your mouth waters at the sight of it. Here's a simple breakfast I just whipped up. Aw, biscuits, chicken. The problem with this is it's steaming. You should be having cold KFC for breakfast. It's important. If you haven't done that, I'm sorry, get out there, try the world. You taste Colonel Sanders' food, and it takes you on a journey. When you return, he's waiting to ask you an important question. You know, I bet you if I had cold KFC at someone's house right now, it would be kind of a psychological journey. I would just like roll backwards to a very early time in my life of eating KFC in a motorhome traveling across the country. It's true facts. It's a real thing. So, would you say that we're the perfect match? Whoa, whoa. Early breakfast conversation. How presumptuous. My cuisine and your taste buds, that is. Such confidence, such grace. Could it be the world's greatest gift to cookery? Ah, let's flatter him. If we take him down a peg, he'll just get mad. This is not a man who could take a hit. You know, I think we might make a great team. Also, I mean, I'm going to like, what, an 8th rate cooking college? Like, look at the name. We're not even an acronym. Sometimes you got to look at your options and go, I'm either going to join the military or marry the chicken guy, right? You got to ask yourself. A single tear. Oh, God. All right. A single tear begins to pool in the corner of his eye, and he gazes out the window. I don't know. Maybe we should join the military. And with the right business partner, I know I can't fail. Business partner? Could he be talking to you? It's all happening so quickly. Overcome with emotion and confused by your feelings, you're on the verge of tears, unable to speak. The only answer you can find is to run out the door and get home. I gotta work on my people skills. There's still one more day of school after all. The University of Cooking School Academy for Learning waits for no one. You get home to find something very surprising. Your best friend is there waiting for you. She has keys to my house? I have a mom who let her in? Questions? Questions? She broke in the window. Where have you been? Because I had a heck of a night. I've been desperate to talk to you about it, but I couldn't find you. I got worried that something had happened to you. It's okay. But now that it turns out you're fine, I can finally get up the speed. But now that it turns out you're fine, I can finally get you up to speed on the saga of Miriam. Miriam, we need to see other people. Sure, but you will not believe what happened to me after school yesterday. I went on a date! I think I can believe that. Since I'd been partnered with Clank, he asked me to go out with him. Of course I told him, you better keep your dial turned to polite and respectful. I'm not that kind of girl. But he was just interested in spending some one-on-one time together and getting to know me. So I said, yeah, sure. I can get to know a little metallic guy. Long story short, he took me skydiving with his friends. But things quickly spiraled out of control. Yeah, when the giant Lexmark printer gets hucked out of the plane, I could see how this date was going a different direction. Just saying, I'm not as worried about Clank as the building he's going to destroy when he strikes the earth. Did she just say skydiving? As if that's a typical first date to go on with a talking pressure cooker? And now, I'm not really sure where we stand. You don't give Miriam time to tell her whole story. However, bottling up the details of your own night is just too much to bear. And I went on a date too. Back to Colonel Sanders' house where I spent the night with him. We've got to add things to this. This is how bad rumors get started. You what? Nothing happened but the emotional connection. Wowzers. Miriam tells you to move on from this whole Colonel Sanders obsession and focus on school. If being obsessed with Colonel Sanders is wrong, you don't want to be right. After a short argument, you both agree to go your separate ways. Wow. You are moody. Did Clank, unalive? Is he decrypted? Is he been compressed? I'm trying to think of any way I could say computer go boom at the bottom. I know he's a pressure cooker, but in my brain, robot be robot. When you arrive at school, you encounter your rivals at the quad. In the quad. You can tell from a distance that they're picking on Pop, though he himself not quite grasp that fact. Because, he's Pop. What's a swirly? Sounds delicious. Oh, it's great. I'll order you up one right away. Well, at least we're no longer trying to sacrifice him. My swirly with sprinkles, please. Sprinkles is a dog and a treat. You can get your swirly dip, too. I knew a lot of bullies. They didn't go to this kind of effort. This is intense. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? Because I'm literally the biggest person at this school. There's that horse that Colonel Sanders rides to school. But who would dare pick on such a gentle and beautiful creature? I still think the horse's name should be Shake and Bake. You've got some nerve, Gun Bunny, suggesting I pick on a defenseless horse. It's not defenseless. I think it's gonna win, Van Van. Now you're twisting my words, and I won't have it. You clench your fist, but the injury from yesterday's mixer accident makes you wince with pain. Fact that I still have this hand. Not that I'm still hurt, that I have the mitten on the stump to begin with. Doesn't look like you can go on cooking like that. Might as well just give up. I'll never give up. Ever! Colonel Sanders arrives just as it appears. Things are close to boiling over. A naturally intuitive person, he senses that something has been going on. Is everyone excited for the final day of school? Gun Bunny, how's that hand feeling? I'm sure you'll be back and fighting for him by this afternoon. Mixer accident? I doubt it, but let's all be positive. Ashley. Aren't you concerned about my hands, Colonel? Yesterday I almost broke a nail winning so hard. Technically, I don't believe a winner was decided, but your presentation was quite impressive. What is he doing? Complimenting her. Okay, I have a jealous streak. I gotta get that in check. But what about the flavor of my delicate, warm, gooey chocolate sauce? It was clear that you're passionate about how your food is received. That's a lot of words to say. It was bland. Excuse me, Gun Bunny. I am more than capable enough to speak for myself. Oh, okay, he's testy too, so I could be unnaturally jealous and he'd be a bit prickly. Maybe you could tell me more on your thoughts as we walk to class, Colonel. I'm always interested in discussing the fine arts of food. See you inside, Gun Bunny. Annoyed by Colonel Sanders' inability to see Ashley for who you know she really is, you walk across the quad to get some distance. In an attempt to distract yourself from how slighted you feel by that interaction with Ashley, you take out the spellbook you received yesterday and start flipping through the pages. Time for some bok bok chicken, Mancy. Whoa, that's the book. Whoa, that's that book. It looks like bad news. This one might be right. Miriam could be right here. It's just something I found lying around. It would appear to be some sort of grimoire, but I don't really believe in that magic stuff. We have seen 2, might I add, talking mashed potato spork monsters. But hey, what's a little magic? It's all in my head, right? A grimoire? Like a book of spells? I don't know. Who would spend so much time decorating a magic book if it weren't really powerful? Every 13-year-old girl in my arts class. I kid you not. I knew a bajillion of them with their bejeweled, encrusted, glitter-soaked, air quotes, spell books. It was a thing. I can think of one surefire way to find out. You open a page covered with arcane warnings. Cast only in case of extreme emergency, it says around the edges of the page. I could use this spell here that says it will erase anyone I choose from all of my memories. If I scrub out Colonel Sanders, it would probably help me focus better on the upcoming final exam. Don't do it. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. That's way drastic. Couldn't you do something else? Like anything else? Not rooted in dark magic? Maybe tie a string around your finger? Okay, fine. It is drastic. But desperate times call for desperate measures. You've got a memory erasing spell sitting right in front of you, and a pretty good excuse to try it out. Do I? Is that how we see this going? Yeah. Okay. I'm scared to do this, but I wanna. You know what? We're gonna die again and cast the forbidden spell. Here we go. Do I just become a great cook then? And go off and spread salt among the world? Or do I don't do it after all and I get over myself? Oh, you know what? Don't do it after all. You take your friend's advice and put the book away. It's almost time for class. Whew! See, I avoided evil. They dazzled me with what's behind door number 2, and I walked away unscathed. Right now. Sprinkles is already in the room, waiting for the students to arrive. He clears his voice to make a quick announcement. I want you all to know I feel something of a dog moment coming on, but I assure you it's nothing to be afraid of. His cute little nose scrunches up and begins to breathe quickly. Let's not feed or take food or anything else to do with food in Sprinkle's direction. So even though he must be hungry, reach some old homework and give him as a snack, we're going to skip it and go with dogs can be rather unpredictable, especially Sprinkles, who has already chowed down at me before. Wait and see what happens. Sprinkles stops in his tracks. He focuses on the window. The room is deadly silent. When you follow his gaze, you see a tiny orange squirrel perched on the cherry tree outside. Squirrel! Sprinkles turns feral and runs to the window of the classroom and begins barking uncontrollably at the squirrels outside. Terrence, I told you never to come back here. Terrence, I will destroy you, Terrence. Sprinkles is barking ferociously, drooling, flying off. Sprinkles is barking ferociously, drool flying off of his face. The squirrel looks over, but he doesn't say anything back. You wonder, is that even a talking squirrel? Who named him Terrence? You better not show your chubby cheeks around here ever again. After Sprinkles is satisfied that his presence has been felt by not only Terrence, but any other squirrel in hearing distance, he returns to his professorial tone. Ahem. I apologize for the outburst. This actually brings up an important point. Thank you, Gun Bunny, for reminding me to dole out this indispensable bit of wisdom. You see? But before he can go any further, Miriam's love drama spills over into the classroom. Sprinkles is interrupted by whirs and sparks coming from the back of the room. Oh, he's solid! Oh, look at Clank, all one unit. I told you to save it for after class. You think I wanted to be thrown from a plane, strapped to a stranger? Miriam and Clank appear to be arguing, but you still haven't learned to speak Clank's language of mechanical noises. But no, you had to show off your cool kid friends, Jeff and Joanne, JJ forever. Watch us form a triangle in midair as we do. Watch us form a triangle in midair as we descend. Triangles are the strongest shape, don't you know? Yeah, well, that doesn't make it a great date. Bloop. Then take Jeff and Joanne with you. You can all hold hands as you pedal down the mountain. We're off a cliff for all I care. Bloop. Clank begins to shudder. Steam pours out of the gaps in his panels, and then a loud ding stops him in his tracks. Bloop. No amount of seasoning is going to make me want to eat that, Clank. Clank burps out a completely deep-fried sneaker. Clank burps out a completely deep-fried sneaker. Considering that he himself has wheels, not feet, it's not entirely clear where it came from. In terms of deep-fried footwear, I guess it looks okay. Clank slowly rolls out of the room to be alone with his shoe. Everyone tries to pretend like they didn't see that entire thing go down. Nothing like a loud public breakup to cast a pale over the final day of school. Well, that was unfortunate. But we mustn't be distracted from what lies ahead. The final competition showdown challenge exam. and the end of this episode because I think that should be where I stop. I think this might be the second to last episode. I have no core concept of how long this game is, but we'll stop there. Hopefully, we've got the final competition showdown challenge exam, and that will make a good start to the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me with I Love You, Colonel Sanders. This has been Gun Bunny, G.u.n.n, Bunny, and have a great afternoon. Goodbye.